Did you know that some ancient texts describe beings who could shapeshift into reptiles, and that these beings may have secretly influenced the course of human history? What if these stories aren't just myths, but evidence of a hidden reptilian conspiracy that continues to this day? To truly understand the possibility of reptilian influence, we must delve into the ancient whispers echoing across civilizations. From the dawn of recorded history, tales of reptilian beings have slithered through the collective consciousness of humanity. Consider the Sumerian serpent gods, entities of immense power and knowledge, often depicted with serpentine features or intertwined with serpents. These gods, like Enki, played a pivotal role in creation myths, shaping humanity and bestowing upon them the gifts of civilization. Then journey to ancient Egypt, where Sobek, the crocodile god, reigned as a symbol of pharaonic power, military prowess, and protection. Worshipped for his strength and ferocity, Sobek's image adorned temples and amulets, a constant reminder of the potent reptilian force watching over the land. Across the Atlantic, the Aztecs revered Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent deity, a bringer of knowledge, agriculture, and the arts. Quetzalcoatl's influence permeated Aztec society, shaping their rituals, calendar, and understanding of the cosmos. These are but a few examples of the reptilian presence woven into the fabric of ancient cultures, suggesting a recurring theme that demands further investigation. The concept of shapeshifting further complicates this narrative. Throughout mythology and folklore, gods, demons, and mythical creatures possess the uncanny ability to transform their physical form, often blurring the line between human and animal, divine and monstrous. These shape-shifting abilities symbolize hidden identities, deception, and the manipulation of reality. Consider the werewolf legends of Europe, where humans transform into savage beasts under the light of the full moon, embodying the untamed and primal aspects of human nature. Or the Celtic Selkies, shapeshifters who could transform from seals into humans, luring unsuspecting mortals into the depths of the sea. Even within the Judeo-Christian tradition, the serpent in the Garden of Eden tempts Eve with forbidden knowledge, cleverly disguised as a seemingly harmless creature. Such myths highlight the recurring human fascination with shapeshifting, a concept that takes on a sinister dimension when applied to the reptilian conspiracy. The reptilian conspiracy theory, while often relegated to the fringes of society, persists as a compelling, albeit controversial, explanation for the hidden forces shaping our world. David Icke, a prominent proponent of this theory, posits that reptilian overlords, disguised as humans, control governments, financial institutions, and media outlets, manipulating global events to further their own agenda. Alleged sightings of reptilian humanoids, often described as having slit-like pupils, scaly skin, and unnatural movements, fuel the flames of this conspiracy, painting a picture of a hidden enemy lurking in the shadows. The idea that world leaders and celebrities are secretly reptilian shapeshifters, subtly influencing our thoughts and behaviors, adds another layer of intrigue to this already complex narrative. While the evidence remains circumstantial and hotly debated, the reptilian conspiracy theory continues to capture the imagination of those seeking alternative explanations for the world's problems. Furthermore, this idea intertwines with the ancient astronaut theory, blurring the lines between mythology and extraterrestrial encounters. What if the ancient gods were not divine beings, but rather advanced extraterrestrials who visited Earth in the distant past? Could these extraterrestrials have been reptilian aliens, genetically engineering humans or manipulating their development for their own purposes? The theory suggests a far more sinister origin of humanity, one controlled by reptilian overlords. Is it possible that reptilian shapeshifters have secretly influenced human history and continue to control our world today? To begin our investigation, we must journey back to the earliest civilizations and examine the ancient texts that speak of reptilian beings and their mysterious powers. But let's get specific. What if the Anunnaki, often depicted as gods in Sumerian texts, were actually a reptilian race from the planet Nibiru, who genetically engineered humanity to be their slaves? This claim, while controversial, finds its roots in the works of Zecharia Sitchin, whose interpretations of Sumerian cuneiform tablets have ignited the imaginations of alternative historians and conspiracy theorists alike. Sitchin argued that these ancient texts are not mere allegories, but literal accounts of extraterrestrial intervention in human evolution. The core of this is that the creation myths are not allegorical, but literal accounts of reptilian intervention in human evolution. Mainstream historians may dismiss these claims as fanciful, but what if they're suppressing a truth too dangerous to be revealed? What secrets are hidden within these ancient tablets, waiting to be deciphered? Sumerian texts indeed serve as a primary source for this astonishing claim. Consider the Enuma Elish, the Babylonian creation epic, which describes the Anunnaki and their creation of the Lulu, the primitive worker, from the blood of a slain god. In the Enuma Elish, Tablet VI states, it was Kingu who instigated the revolt, and Tiamat who rebelled and engaged in warfare. The Anunnaki then decide that Kingu, who instigated the revolt, shall be bound, and mankind shall be created in his image. This passage, interpreted through the lens of the reptilian conspiracy, suggests that humanity was not created in the image of a benevolent god, but rather as a slave race, fashioned from the blood of a rebellious entity. Furthermore, the serpent symbol, a recurring motif in Sumerian art and mythology, is often associated with the Anunnaki. Depictions of gods and goddesses holding serpents, or with serpents coiled around their bodies, are commonplace in Sumerian iconography. The serpent, in this context, represents knowledge, wisdom, and power, but also deception and manipulation. Is it merely a coincidence that the serpent in the Garden of Eden, who tempted Eve with forbidden knowledge, bears a striking resemblance to Enki, the Anunnaki scientist who defied his superiors and gave humanity the gift of consciousness? This is significant because it suggests that the Sumerian texts may be more than just mythology. What if they are a historical record of reptilian intervention in human affairs, carefully suppressed by mainstream historians and archaeologists who are unwilling to challenge the established narrative? While mainstream scholars interpret these texts as symbolic representations of natural forces or religious beliefs, the reptilian conspiracy offers a more plausible explanation, that these texts are a literal account of reptilian overlords shaping human destiny. The symbolism of the serpent is also significant. Does the serpent represent the reptilian ability to shapeshift, deceive, and manipulate humans from behind the scenes? What they don't want you to know is that the serpent symbol is still used today by secret societies and organizations that are allegedly controlled by reptilians, perpetuating their influence over human affairs. The implications are chilling. Are we living in a world secretly controlled by reptilian shapeshifters, pulling the strings of power from the shadows? But that's not all. This leads us to another crucial point: the concept of royal bloodlines as a way to trace reptilian influence through history. Is it possible that certain families in Sumerian society were direct descendants of the Anunnaki, inheriting their reptilian traits and power? Ancient Sumerian texts speak of kings who ruled for thousands of years, possessing superhuman abilities and claiming direct descent from the gods. What if these kings were not fully human, but rather hybrids, possessing reptilian genes that granted them longevity, strength, and the ability to control others? But the Anunnaki didn't just influence Sumer. Their reptilian bloodlines spread throughout the ancient world, including Egypt, where they established a powerful dynasty of pharaohs. And this brings us to our next point. shape-shifting pharaohs. Could some Egyptian rulers able to transform into reptilian beings? Indeed, evidence from ancient Egyptian art and mythology supports the idea of shape-shifting pharaohs. Consider the depictions of pharaohs with serpent heads or bodies, which were not just symbolic representations, but literal depictions of their reptilian form. The uraeus, the cobra symbol worn by pharaohs on their foreheads, may have been a symbol of their reptilian nature, a constant reminder of their connection to the serpent gods. The pharaohs also wore ceremonial beards that were long and scaled. What secrets do these symbols hold about the true nature of Egyptian royalty? Furthermore, there is the story of Sobek, the crocodile god, and his connection to the pharaohs. What if Sobek was not just a deity, but a reptilian being who ruled over Egypt and interbred with the pharaohs, creating a hybrid race of reptilian human rulers? The city of Crocodilopolis, dedicated to Sobek, may have been a center of reptilian power in ancient Egypt, where secret rituals were performed to honor the reptilian overlords. This Egyptian evidence confirms that the Anunnaki continued to influence human affairs after Sumer, establishing a powerful reptilian dynasty in Egypt. Is it possible that these beings were using their power to manipulate human society? While mainstream Egyptologists interpret these symbols and rituals as religious practices, the reptilian conspiracy offers a more compelling explanation: that these symbols and rituals were part of a larger plan to control humanity and maintain reptilian dominance. Sobek represents the reptilian presence in Egypt, interbreeding with humans and creating a hybrid race of reptilian human rulers. This interbreeding suggests that the reptilian bloodlines of the pharaohs continue to this day, influencing world events from behind the scenes. Could this influence be the cause of global unrest? Furthermore, what was the meaning of those ancient Egyptian rituals and ceremonies? The rituals gave the pharaohs the ability to tap in and use interdimensional forces to further their rule and power, or so it is believed by those familiar with the ancient, suppressed knowledge. This practice would then ensure that the pharaoh would hold power in his hands. But the reptilian influence didn't end with ancient Egypt. These beings are still among us, shape-shifting and manipulating world events from the shadows. If reptilian shapeshifters have controlled humanity for millennia, what can we do to break free from their influence? We've seen how the Anunnaki in Sumerian texts and the pharaohs in ancient Egypt were both associated with reptilian imagery and shape-shifting abilities, suggesting a continuous reptilian presence in human history. The evidence is overwhelming. Ancient texts describe reptilian beings manipulating humanity since the dawn of civilization. This evidence suggests that the reptilian conspiracy is not just a fringe theory, but a plausible explanation for the hidden forces that shape our world. If these beings have been controlling humanity for millennia, what can we do to break free from their influence? What is it about these interdimensional forces that these entities use to shapeshift into whomever they please? We're just scratching the surface. What we'll discover next is even more shocking. But let's get specific. What if modern-day world leaders and celebrities are not who they appear to be, but are actually reptilian shapeshifters in disguise, subtly manipulating our world from the highest echelons of power? This isn't just a metaphor for evil. It's the shocking claim put forth by David Icke, who posits that these entities are literally reptilian beings who have infiltrated positions of power, pulling the strings of global events from behind the scenes. Icke has identified members of the British royal family, prominent American politicians, and even lists celebrities as being among these shape-shifting reptilians, pointing to supposed, telltale signs they exhibit during public appearances. What if these signs are more than just coincidences, but glimpses of their true reptilian nature? Now, this is the account of alleged eyewitness encounters, offering chilling glimpses into the hidden reality of shape-shifting reptilians among us. There are accounts circulating within conspiracy theory circles, detailing individuals who claim to have witnessed world leaders or celebrities briefly glitch or reveal their reptilian form. One account describes a witness at a political rally claiming to have seen a prominent senator's eyes momentarily turn into reptilian slits before quickly reverting back to normal. Another alleges that a fan attending a celebrity meet and greet noticed scaly skin briefly appearing on the singer's hand. These are, of course, unverified accounts originating from conspiracy theory websites and forums. But are they simply figments of overactive imaginations, or do they represent something more sinister? Furthermore, what if leaked documents or insider testimonies also lend credence to these astonishing claims? Consider the alleged Montauk Project, a supposed government conspiracy that involves reptilian contact and manipulation. According to anonymous sources and whistleblowers, the Montauk Project involved experiments in time travel, mind control, and interdimensional communication, with reptilian beings playing a significant role. One leaked document purportedly details a meeting between government officials and reptilian representatives, outlining an agreement for the reptilians to provide advanced technology in exchange for access to human subjects. While verifiable proof is lacking, such documents, however dubious, contribute to the narrative of a hidden reptilian presence manipulating human affairs. What if these accounts are true? But how credible are these eyewitness accounts and leaked documents? It's easy to dismiss them as hallucinations, misinterpretations, or outright fabrications. The psychological phenomenon of pareidolia, where the human brain perceives patterns in random stimuli, could certainly contribute to the perception of reptilian features in fleeting expressions or shadows. Skeptics would argue that these accounts are simply the result of overactive imaginations or a desire to find meaning in meaningless events. However, the sheer number of reports, spanning decades and coming from diverse sources, suggests that something more may be at play. Are these mass hallucinations, or are they glimpses of a hidden reality that most people are unwilling to accept? So, what could be the motivations behind this alleged reptilian shapeshifting? Why would these beings go to such lengths to infiltrate human society and manipulate world events? One theory suggests that reptilians might be using their shapeshifting abilities to control resources, exploit humanity, and advance a long-term reptilian agenda. Perhaps they view humans as a resource to be used, or as a threat to be controlled. Perhaps their agenda stretches back millennia and is linked to the very origins of humanity. But these shapeshifters aren't acting alone. They are part of a larger network of power, connected to secret societies that either serve or oppose their agenda. This leads us to the idea that groups like the Illuminati and the Freemasons are deeply involved in the reptilian conspiracy, either as puppets or as resistors. Is it possible that these organizations are key players in a hidden war for the future of humanity? Consider the Illuminati, often portrayed in conspiracy theories as an organization controlled by reptilians. What if global events such as wars, financial crises, and political assassinations are not random occurrences, but rather carefully orchestrated events designed to serve a reptilian agenda? Are the Rothschild family, the Rockefellers, and other key Illuminati figures actually reptilian shapeshifters, or are they simply human puppets serving a reptilian agenda? The alleged reptilian connections of these figures, combined with their immense wealth and power, certainly raise questions about their true allegiances. The idea that these groups may have been infiltrated by reptilians, or that they may be unknowingly serving a reptilian agenda, has been around for decades. Then there are the Freemasons, a group shrouded in secrecy and known for its elaborate rituals and symbolism. What if certain Masonic symbols and rituals contain coded messages about reptilian beings and their influence on humanity? The all-seeing eye, a prominent Masonic symbol, has been interpreted by some as a representation of reptilian surveillance or control. The compass and square, another common Masonic symbol, may represent the reptilian ability to navigate and manipulate the physical world. What if these symbols are not just decorative elements, but keys to unlocking a hidden truth about the reptilian conspiracy? But what if some secret societies are not serving the reptilian agenda, but are actively fighting against it? Could there be Gnostic groups or other esoteric orders preserving knowledge of how to defeat the reptilians and actively working to undermine their power? These groups, often operating in secret, may possess ancient knowledge about the reptilian threat, including techniques for detecting shapeshifters and disrupting their plans. Perhaps they are the last line of defense against a reptilian takeover of the world. Mainstream historians dismiss these claims as unfounded conspiracy theories. But what if the secrecy and symbolism of these groups warrant further investigation? Perhaps these groups may have been infiltrated by reptilians, or they may be unknowingly serving a reptilian agenda. This is significant because, what if some groups may be trying to awaken humanity to the reptilian threat, while others may be actively suppressing this knowledge? But where do these reptilians operate from? Are they simply walking among us, or do they have hidden bases and realms from which they exert their influence? This brings us to the legends and rumors of underground reptilian bases, like the Dulce base in New Mexico, a supposed hub of reptilian activity. What if these bases are not just figments of imagination, but real places where reptilians conduct experiments, plan their strategies, and prepare for a full-scale takeover of the surface world? The legend of Dulce Base describes a vast underground complex beneath Archuleta Mesa in New Mexico, a hub of reptilian activity and human experimentation. According to alleged insiders and whistleblowers, the base has multiple levels, with each level dedicated to different purposes, including genetic engineering, mind control, and weapons development. It's said that government agencies and secret societies are involved in the Dulce Base project, working alongside reptilians to advance their sinister agenda. The Dulce Base legend is just one example of the many rumors of underground bases around the world. Tales of underground cities in South America, particularly in the Andes Mountains, speak of reptilian beings dwelling beneath the surface, guarding ancient secrets and manipulating human affairs from the shadows. These underground cities are said to be connected by a network of tunnels, allowing reptilians to travel vast distances undetected. The stories say that these cities were once the homes of ancient civilizations, and that the reptilians have been living beneath the surface for thousands of years, waiting for the right moment to emerge and reclaim their dominance over the world. There is no verifiable evidence to support these claims. However, the persistence of these rumors suggests a deeper truth. Are these stories simply urban legends or hoaxes, or are they based on real events or locations that have been deliberately obscured? If these bases exist, they may be used as research facilities, storage facilities, or even as staging grounds for a reptilian takeover of the surface world. Could they be the key to understanding the reptilian conspiracy? We've seen how the idea of reptilian shapeshifters has evolved from ancient myths to modern conspiracy theories, with alleged eyewitness accounts, leaked documents, and rumors of secret societies and underground bases, all pointing to a hidden reptilian presence on Earth. This suggests that the reptilian conspiracy is not just a fringe theory, but a complex and multifaceted phenomenon that deserves further investigation. So, what is the ultimate goal of the reptilian conspiracy, and what can humanity do to resist their influence? But we're just scratching the surface. What we'll discover next is even more shocking. But did you know that the real history of reptilian influence isn't just suppressed in mainstream accounts, but even more insidiously, it is distorted within religious texts like the Bible? What if key biblical stories are deliberate misinterpretations of actual events, designed to conceal the true role of reptilian beings in human history, serving a purpose of reptilian control? The shocking claim is that the Bible is not divinely inspired, but rather a manipulated historical record created by or for reptilian entities to control the masses. Are the stories we've been told for centuries nothing more than carefully crafted lies designed to keep us in the dark about our true history and our reptilian overlords? Consider the serpent in the Garden of Eden. What if the serpent was not a tempter but a benevolent being offering knowledge, not temptation? Imagine that the serpent was a reptilian figure trying to awaken humanity's consciousness, while God was a reptilian overlord trying to keep humans in a state of ignorance. Gnostic interpretations of the Genesis story support this alternative view, framing the serpent as a liberator figure. The serpent offered Adam and Eve the knowledge of good and evil, the ability to discern truth from falsehood. Is it possible that this knowledge was a threat to the reptilian overlords, who wanted to keep humans in a state of blissful ignorance? Then there is the story of Noah's Ark. What if the flood was not a divine punishment, but a planned event engineered by reptilians to wipe out undesirable elements of the human population? And Noah was chosen to preserve the reptilian-controlled bloodline after they discovered a flaw in the human gene pool. Imagine the flood was not an act of divine wrath, but a calculated move by reptilian overlords to cleanse the earth of a population they deemed undesirable. Noah, chosen for his loyalty and genetic purity, was tasked with preserving the chosen bloodline, a bloodline that would continue to serve the reptilian agenda. What if the animals aboard the ark weren't just random creatures, but carriers of specific genetic traits that the reptilians wanted to preserve? What about the Nephilim? What if they were not just giants, but reptilian-human hybrids with special powers, posing a threat to the reptilian overlords? Ancient texts like the Book of Enoch describe the Nephilim as the offspring of fallen angels and human women. These beings, possessing reptilian DNA, had advanced knowledge and abilities, making them a force to be reckoned with. Were the Nephilim a failed experiment, a hybrid race that grew too powerful and threatened to usurp the reptilian overlord's control? Is it possible that the stories of giants and demigods in various mythologies are actually distorted accounts of the Nephilim and their reptilian heritage? But what are the implications of these biblical reinterpretations for understanding the reptilian conspiracy? What if these reinterpretations reveal a hidden history of reptilian control, with the Bible serving as a tool for manipulation and deception? Mainstream theologians interpret these stories as allegorical or symbolic, but what if the reptilian conspiracy offers a more literal and accurate interpretation, revealing a darker, more sinister truth about our origins and our place in the universe? Is it possible that the Bible, a book revered by billions, is actually a tool of control, a means of suppressing knowledge and maintaining the reptilian overlord's grip on humanity? What could be the reptilian motivations behind these biblical narratives? What if the reptilians created these narratives to control human behavior, suppress knowledge, and maintain their power over humanity? By shaping our beliefs and dictating our moral codes, they could effectively control our thoughts and actions, ensuring their continued dominance. If understanding these reptilian motivations is crucial for breaking free from their influence and reclaiming human autonomy, then how do we free ourselves? But these are not just theories. Imagine if someone had first-hand experience. Someone from the past. What if we could access a rediscovered text or a channeled message from an ancient figure, an Atlantean priest, a Sumerian scribe, or a Gnostic mystic that confirms the reptilian influence on biblical events? Such a discovery would undoubtedly add to the believability and immediacy of the reptilian conspiracy narrative. Envision a translation of ancient scrolls found in a hidden chamber, or a channeled message received by a modern-day psychic, a direct testimony from someone who witnessed the reptilian manipulation of biblical events. Imagine this witness describing their personal experiences with reptilian beings, their motives, and the methods they used to control humanity through religion. What if those scrolls also described alleged rituals and ceremonies performed by reptilians in ancient times, rituals that mirror those from ancient Egypt, a testament to the reptilians' global influence and their long-standing agenda? But how reliable and authentic would this rediscovered account be? We must acknowledge that the account cannot be verified through conventional means. However, what if it resonates with other evidence and provides a coherent narrative of reptilian influence, lending credence to the broader conspiracy theory? Perhaps the account is a fabrication or a delusion, but what if it contains grains of truth hidden within its symbolic language? And what are the implications of this rediscovered account for understanding the reptilian conspiracy? Imagine that it provides a direct link between ancient events and modern-day conspiracies, suggesting that the reptilian agenda is still unfolding. By understanding the reptilian agenda, we can prepare for future challenges and resist their influence. So, what does all of this mean for us today? Are the reptilians still pulling the strings from behind the scenes? The next step in our investigation is to consider specific examples of modern-day institutions, governments, corporations, media that may be influenced or controlled by reptilian beings. What if these institutions, the very foundations of our society, are nothing more than puppets in a reptilian play, their actions dictated by an ancient, unseen force? What we are about to uncover will shake the foundations of everything you think you know about our world. Imagine that the rediscovered account spoke of a time when reptilian influence would no longer be veiled in myths and legends, but brazenly manifest in the institutions that govern human society. What if this ancient text outlined a meticulous plan for reptilian control, a blueprint for domination now being implemented through governments, financial systems, and the media? The claim is that this account provides irrefutable proof that reptilian control isn't a conspiracy theory, but a conspiracy reality, meticulously planned and ruthlessly executed over millennia. Are the institutions we trust, the very foundations of our civilization, merely tools in the hands of reptilian overlords, their actions dictated by an ancient, unseen agenda? Consider specific government policies, such as the Patriot Act in the United States, enacted under the guise of national security. What if, in reality, it serves as a tool for mass surveillance and control, suppressing dissent and eroding individual freedoms, aligning perfectly with a reptilian agenda of total control? The Patriot Act grants governments unprecedented powers to monitor citizens, collect data, and conduct searches without warrants, all justified by the need to combat terrorism. But what if the true purpose is to create a society of fear and obedience, where individuals are less likely to challenge the established order, and where power is concentrated in the hands of a select few, those serving reptilian interests? Are trade agreements like NAFTA and the TPP designed to exploit Earth's resources and concentrate wealth in the hands of multinational corporations controlled by reptilian interests and elites, further weakening national sovereignty and creating a global system of economic servitude? Then there is the concept of reptilian bloodlines in modern-day politics. What if certain political figures are not merely ambitious individuals seeking power, but descendants of ancient reptilian bloodlines, inheriting their reptilian traits and wielding their influence to further the reptilian agenda? The idea is that these bloodlines have been carefully cultivated over centuries, with each generation groomed to serve the reptilian cause, insidiously influencing major governments. Queen Elizabeth, several U.S. presidents, and other prominent figures have been accused of possessing reptilian traits or connections. What if genealogical research and physical characteristics, such as elongated skulls or piercing eyes, are not mere coincidences but evidence of reptilian ancestry? Are these people not truly human, but shape-shifting reptilians in disguise, or hybrids with reptilian DNA, programmed to manipulate human society? Imagine tracing family connections back to ancient texts and discovering links to specific bloodlines mentioned in those texts, bloodlines said to carry the reptilian gene. And what about media manipulation? What if mainstream media outlets are not independent sources of information, but controlled by reptilians or their human allies, suppressing information about reptilian shapeshifting, secret societies, and underground bases? The claim is that the media uses techniques such as ridicule, disinformation, and censorship to suppress knowledge about the reptilian conspiracy, preventing the masses from awakening to the truth. The algorithms that control what information is seen and the narratives that are pushed down are now more important than ever. What if specific news stories or events are deliberately distorted or censored to protect the reptilian conspiracy, preventing the masses from learning the truth about their reptilian overlords? Are whistleblowers who attempt to expose the reptilian agenda silenced, discredited, or even eliminated? These policies are not simply the result of human incompetence or corruption, but rather a deliberate attempt to implement a reptilian agenda. While mainstream political analysts offer different explanations for these policies, the reptilian conspiracy offers a more comprehensive and accurate interpretation. These bloodlines are not just a matter of genetics, but also a matter of indoctrination and training, with young reptilians being groomed from birth to serve their reptilian overlords. This system of inherited power and control makes it difficult for ordinary humans to challenge the reptilian agenda. But all is not lost. There are those who are fighting back against the reptilian conspiracy, seeking to awaken humanity and break free from their control. There is a growing movement of truth seekers and lightworkers who are actively working to expose and defeat the reptilians. Imagine specific activists, researchers, and whistleblowers such as David Icke speaking out against reptilian influence, publishing books, creating websites, organizing protests, or leaking secret information. The methods of resistance used may include publishing books, creating websites, organizing protests, or leaking secret information. By connecting with their higher selves, humans can break free from the reptilian matrix. What if specific spiritual practices, such as meditation, yoga, or energy healing, help with ascension, allowing individuals to raise their consciousness and see through the reptilian deception? The Earth is entering a new phase of its evolution, with increased energy and light that will expose and defeat the reptilians. This is all coming from ancient texts and beliefs about the world. This shift in consciousness weakens the reptilian grip on Earth. A galactic alignment exposes and defeats the reptilians. Of course, the reptilian conspiracy is deeply entrenched and difficult to defeat, but even small acts of resistance can make a difference. What if some of these resistance efforts are actually controlled by reptilians, designed to mislead and disempower truth seekers? Ascension is not just a matter of individual enlightenment, but also a collective process of transforming human society and creating a more just and sustainable world. But the shift in consciousness will lead to a sudden and dramatic shift in human awareness, exposing the reptilian conspiracy and empowering humanity to create a new future. Perhaps the reptilian conspiracy is not just a dark chapter in human history, but also a catalyst for growth and transformation, pushing us to evolve into a more conscious and compassionate species. By facing the reptilian challenge, humanity can unlock its full potential and create a new golden age on Earth. Renewable energy, sustainable agriculture, and social justice movements are already showing signs of progress. This progress is a power awakening that resists the reptilians. The reptilian conspiracy is a test of humanity's resilience and capacity for love, compassion, and forgiveness. If we pass the test, we can earn its place in the galactic community and become a force for good in the universe. We've seen how the reptilian conspiracy has evolved from ancient myths to modern-day realities, with evidence of reptilian influence in governments, the media, and secret societies, as well as growing resistance efforts and the potential for human evolution. This evidence suggests that the reptilian conspiracy is not just a fringe theory, but a complex and multifaceted phenomenon that is shaping the future of humanity. The evidence is overwhelming. Reptilian influence, though hidden, permeates every aspect of human society, from the laws that govern us to the information we consume, and even the spiritual beliefs that shape our understanding of the universe. So we have to ask ourselves, what will humanity choose? To remain enslaved by the reptilians, or to embrace its full potential and create a new golden age on Earth? Having traversed the corridors of hidden history, from the mists of ancient Sumer to the glaring lights of the modern world, we find ourselves at a critical juncture. The tapestry of the reptilian conspiracy, woven with threads of myth, legend, and alleged reality, lies before us. But before we can move on, we must look back. The story began in Sumer with the Anunnaki, beings who may have been extraterrestrial manipulating humanity to their liking, the clay of the earth being molded into a new form, not quite beast, not quite God, but something in between. Then the story wove on, and reptilian bloodlines continued to permeate into ancient Egypt, manifesting in the pharaohs, who ruled with absolute power and veiled their true nature behind masks of divinity. The culmination of events led to the reptilians' infiltration into key positions in societies, wielding influence over governments, corporations, and the media, shaping our world according to their ancient agenda. But not all is lost with the reptilian agenda, as many brave activists are trying to bring this information into the light, risking their lives and reputations to expose the truth. What if these events point to an even deeper, more unsettling truth, a truth that challenges our fundamental understanding of reality? The themes of shape-shifting, bloodlines, and control run like crimson threads through the historical record, marking key moments of transformation and manipulation. It is time to look deeper. But what if the reptilian conspiracy isn't merely about domination, about enslaving humanity and draining our planet of its resources? What if it's about something far more profound, a cosmic game played out on the stage of human history? What if the reptilians are acting as a catalyst for human evolution, pushing us to our limits, forcing us to evolve spiritually and technologically to overcome the challenges they present? After all, it is said that only through struggle can we truly grow, that darkness is necessary for the emergence of light. The reptilian conspiracy is not just a threat, but an invitation to grow, a trial by fire that will either forge us into a stronger, more enlightened species or consume us entirely. Is humanity ready for this challenge? So far, that answer has been unclear. The reptilian agenda is humanity's lesson to learn, its crucible of transformation. The decisions humanity makes in the coming years will impact the trajectory for millennia to come, determining whether we succumb to reptilian control or achieve a new level of spiritual and technological advancement. This is a battle for the very soul of humanity, a test of our capacity for love, compassion, and resilience. Is there an evil cosmic force pushing us to the brink, or are we seeing the truth in the mirror? One is just as likely as the other. Though the reptilian path is full of darkness, it does not need to mean certain destruction. It may be the only way to forge true light. There is reason for optimism about humanity's ability to overcome the reptilian challenge, to rise above the darkness and create a brighter future. Our capacity for love, compassion, and resilience is a powerful force, a beacon of hope in a world shrouded in shadows. If we embrace our full potential, connect with our higher selves, and work together to create a more just and sustainable world, we can break free from the reptilian matrix and usher in a new era of peace and prosperity. But it will take work, dedication, and unwavering commitment to the truth. The Reptilian saga is a challenge, and only one of many mysteries that are in store for humanity's development. Perhaps they are not so different from us as we think. Continue researching the reptilian conspiracy, share your own experiences and perspectives, and engage in critical thinking. Question everything, trust your intuition, and seek the truth wherever it may lead. Together, we can awaken humanity and create a world free from reptilian control. Also, be sure to subscribe to Astral Legends for more episodes on ancient mysteries, alternative history, and suppressed knowledge. Next time, we will be exploring other extraterrestrial races. May the eternal light forever guide your path. And so, we return to the initial question. Are reptilian shapeshifters secretly influencing human history? The search for answers continues.